No, that's fame. Fame has a 15-minute half-life. Infamy lasts a little longer. Kind of like Lou Diamond and his aftershave. It lingers.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, for more than 25 years, this individual has helped leaders in highly regarded companies achieve dramatic growth and market leadership through the maximization of talent. She's the author of 6 books, oh my goodness, including her latest one coming out this month called Can We Talk? 7 Principles for Managing Difficult Conversations at Work. Thrive Loud listeners, Roberta Matuson. Roberta, how are you today?
I'm terrific. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited because I love talking about people who can talk about conversations, because that's what I do here, and that's what I love to do. So just want to do a little rewind here. I want to talk a little bit about the work you do, because you have your own practice for a while in helping these companies. Can you share with your listeners your superpower?
Well, my superpower is I can see the future.
Oh, I like it. And how do you go about doing that?
Well, I can't give away my secret, but I've always been known for my ability to look around and anticipate what's coming down the pike.
So as it relates to dealing with growth and helping companies move forward, this is a good superpower to have, is it not?
Absolutely.
How are you able to deploy these superpowers, and what's the specific area that you love to, as you've described it in your bio here, the way you maximize talent?
Well, right now, the biggest issue that we're experiencing is a labor shortage. And so I am working very diligently with some very high profile organizations to help them retain their talent. Because if they lose these people, there really aren't a lot of replacements out there. So a lot of this brings us back to this whole idea of being authentic and having these difficult conversations, because people actually appreciate that.
Roberta, what are some of the more common difficult conversations that people are having right now? And I agree with you. There was a recent study that just came out a couple months ago. What was it, like 90% of people are unhappy at where they are. They're stressed, they're overworked. So what's the difficult conversation that needs to be had?
Well, sometimes the difficult conversation that needs to be had is that, sorry, but help is not on the way.
Yeah.
Promising people that we're going to get these jobs filled, there's going to be less stress, when you know that's a lie, will make the problem even worse than it already is. And so sometimes, you have to be, not sometimes, but you always need to be honest. And that's not easy for a lot of people.
If you're overworked, you're given a lot on your plate, and you're a leader, and you know that this is putting too much stress on the people that are working with you, saying things versus doing things is a challenge. But we recognize we have to communicate really truthfully and honestly. Can you share some of the recommendations you're helping leaders in having that conversation? The one specifically is, look, there's a lot of stuff going on, or maybe what are the questions that need to be asked that can help create the conversation that makes people more appreciative of what the leaders are dealing with?
Well, the first question that needs to be asked by every leader to their people individually is, how are you doing? Mm. And then stop and really listen deeply and let that person tell you how they're really doing, as opposed to, yeah, I'm fine. No, really, how are you doing? And, when you stop and you listen deeply, people will tell you things that they may otherwise have avoided. And once you know how somebody is really feeling, then you can begin the conversation of, being honest with them and saying, I feel the same way. I get it. How can I help? What can I do to be helpful here? And, really just opening up the dialogue and not going in with a script, because you have no idea what the other person is about to tell you.
Roberta, should we be throwing the book of expectations out the window? I think maybe this is one of the biggest problems, right? People have been used to doing their job or their responsibilities in one particular way. Business got to a certain threshold. Help would be on the way if you needed it. To your point, help isn't coming because it's hard to find. I got to make these people happy. Can I think about shifting what needs to get done? Because it might be too much to bear for those that are inside the company, overworked, overtired, just over everything.
Well, I think we can learn a lot from what restaurants are doing today. I'm on the Cape this summer, and it's a beach resort area, and a lot of restaurants cannot fully staff their restaurants. And so what they're doing right now is they are closing shop for 2 days a week. They're like, we're not open on Sunday, we're not open on Monday. And so I'm not telling you should close your office for 2 days, but you might want to consider, maybe pulling back one shift if you need to, and giving people time to really regroup.
There's so much interesting discussion about having the discussions. And I recognize that managers need to know how they can have that difficult conversation. Well, what about those that are experiencing it?
I'm glad you brought that up, because the unique thing about my new book, Can We Talk, is that this book is not just written for leaders who need guidance in terms of having difficult conversations with their staff. It's also written for people who need to have a difficult conversation with their boss or even their peer.
Why do we think it's a difficult conversation?
Well, because we think it's going to be a lot worse than than it will be, or we've had an experience where our boss was so terrible at managing that they made any conversation difficult. So we use our own experience, and if our boss sat down and was like, oh, this is going to be really one of those tough conversations, we learn from the people that we work for. And of course, we repeat that behavior.
Speaking of behavior, I've been working with a lot of companies and helping them better communicate and connect. And one of the devices that used to, quote unquote, make things easier, in my mind, has made it more difficult. And that is electronic communication. Too often, people are using too many emails to keep the conversations going, so to speak, but not really, because they're just one-way blurbs. In your looking back as you were putting together the book, Can We Talk? Can we work? Can we talk? Can we?
Can we talk and can we work?
Exactly. The question did you come across was recognizing that people were not talking because they were finding other ways to, quote unquote, communicate, text, email, other means?
Well, I wrote in the book that there are certain times when you need to just pick up the phone. Yeah. Like, hello, like, pick up the phone, use it, and have a real dialogue, a two-way dialogue. Not everything needs to be a Zoom meeting. Not everything needs to be, a long email thread. 800 people don't need to be copied. If you're having an issue with somebody, and you're working remotely and you can't stop by their office, pick up the phone.
You've written 6 books now, and I love asking authors this question. The writing style, your style as this one came to the earth or was born, however you want to go, you birthed this book. Was it consistent with the other previous books you've written in the regimen that you have? What's your style? Our listeners love to understand really how the author goes about getting pen to paper or fingers to keyboards.
Well, I'm very much unfiltered. So that is my style. And I tell it like it is. And, people tell me when they read my books, people who know me, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like you're sitting next to me on the couch, like reading this, So I don't really filter what I say. I really just believe that too many people try to hide the truth, or they try to temper things down so they don't offend anybody. I'm all about the truth.
Roberta, have you been afraid to have the uncomfortable conversation in your role as you run your company in that particular piece? Have there been consultants who work for you, people that have worked for you, that has happened to you specifically, that you found you were a victim of, oh my God, I'm falling into the trap that a lot of other people are?
Well, early on in my career, for sure. Yeah, and I write about that in the book, stories of people that worked for me who I let, put me in positions that in a million years today, I would never let happen because I didn't want to, ruffle any feathers. But today, when I work with my clients, they get me. I don't have a staff. So the only person that I have to direct is myself. And I'm very direct with myself.
The entire time that you've been going through your career, successful in helping to not only see the future, but help people better connect and achieve that growth, it's a path of thriving, as I like to say. But Roberta, we all have days when we're not quite kicking on all cylinders. When you are having an off day and things aren't necessarily going your way, what practice do you seek, or what individual do you seek out to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Well, let's see. I start with the refrigerator. And I'm like, oh, what can we eat now that will make things better? I'm very fortunate because I work for myself. So I can pause, most of my day, I don't have meetings scheduled back to back. So if things aren't going according to plan, I can go take the dog out for a walk and just kind of get some clarity. So I feel very fortunate that I don't really find myself in that situation very often.
And the 7 principles, I don't want to go through all 7 of them, but I want you to give a teaser to our listeners here. And the 7 principles for managing difficult conversation at work. Is there one that kind of sticks out to you more than the others, or that seems to be more important than any of the others that are out there?
Well, they're all important, but I think it's, really having the confidence to say what needs to be said. Mm-hmm. And so many people have that little guy or gal on their shoulder saying, oh, no, you don't want to say that. They're going to say this, and then you're going to say that. I mean, you have no idea what they're going to say until you say what you need to say. And so I find that people need, courage and confidence to do the right thing, because I know for myself personally, if I were doing something that wasn't working, I would want to know. And so when you avoid those conversations, that doesn't serve anyone.
Since I know you can see the future, and I know you have these superpowers of looking in advance, if we can fast forward a little bit, and eventually, like anything else, we adapt, adjust, and move on, what do you see will be some of the benefits of those that are going to read Can We Talk, and that could use this as we move forward and you start thinking about improved communication in the workplace? What do you see moving forward as people start to take your lessons to heart?
Well, I think they're going to have much more productive relationships. And in the business world, everything is all about relationships. And so the people who get promoted have strong relationships in the organization. So if your listeners have their eyes out, for promotion, then they're going to want to make sure that they have solid relationships within the company. And, whether you're working with a customer, I mean, sometimes you have to have an awkward conversation with them as well. And so, my hope is that people will take this information to heart and become much better communicators and have much more successful careers.
Roberta, let's do the admin part of the show. Share with the listeners all the places people could find you, the book. We'll put all of it in the show notes, but it always gets more engagement when they hear it from you.
Well, they can find me at MatusonConsulting.com, Matuson. That's how my last name is spelled. They can find me on LinkedIn. And if they'd like to send an invite, if they mention your name, I'll accept it. No questions asked. They can also find me on Twitter at Matuson. And the book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Porchlight, wherever you like to order your books.
And when's the drop date? When's the book coming out?
The drop date is September 28th here in the US and a little bit before in the UK and Europe.
Awesome. Excited for it. You ready to go down Fun Street with me, Roberta?
I am so excited. I can't contain myself.
You can't. I could see it. You're literally just, we almost needed restraints on your chair to keep you in it. Okay. Can you share with the listeners what you shared with me is one of your all-time favorite movies?
Dirty Dancing.
And why does that movie connect so much with you?
Because I think I'm like Baby and I can dance.
Well, Baby could dance, couldn't she? I mean, so you must be able to.
Good, but I think I'm better than her. And I should have been Patrick Swayze's dance partner.
I got you. Well, we'll try to, you have a vision for the future, but I don't think we can go back in time and redo that one. All right. We're going to do the speed round here. I'm going to ask you something, Roberta. I want the first thing that comes to your mind. These are things that make you feel good, motivate you, lift you up. In some cases, they make you thrive. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Of late, a song that's kind of like your jam right now, one that you love that maybe even pumps you up.
You Should Be Dancing by the Foo Fighters.
Ooh, nice. That surprising. I like that from you. A favorite food that is not a dessert.
Pasta.
A favorite dessert.
Peach cobbler.
An activity you wish you did more of.
Pickleball.
Oh, I love pickleball. It's a great game, right? But much better on the knees. An activity you wish you did less of.
Cleaning.
Any particular part of the house or any particular thing you're cleaning?
The whole house.
The whole house. Anything. If I could snap my fingers and you can go anywhere in the world, where are you?
Italy.
What part?
Umbria.
Ooh. Have you been often to Italy or?
I am heading there in a few weeks, I hope.
Oh, I like it. Roberta Matuson, this has been so much fun. Continued success. Can we talk? I love it. I think it's a great topic and it's a great conversation. And I hope more people use it to have those uncomfortable conversations so they know how to move through them at work. Thank you so much for coming on Thrive Loud.
Thank you for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be God.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.